Dragonflies first began to fly about ponds, marshes, and other areas of water over 350 million years ago. The Odonata family includes this archaic insect and its closely related cousin insects, damselflies. Dragonflies are found on practically every continent and number over 3,000 species. We'll look at 15 fascinating facts about dragonflies that you probably didn't know. 1. Damselflies and dragonflies are frequently mistaken. The dragonfly and damselfly are the only two species of insects in the Odonata family. Most people will mistake the two at first glance because they have a very similar overall appearance. Their wings hold the key to recognizing them. The dragonfly has 4 wings, whereas the damselfly has only 2. Dragonflies extend their wings horizontally when resting, whereas damselflies tuck their wings into their body. Their eyes are another indicator. The eyes of all damselflies are separated, whereas the eyes of most dragonflies are joined. 2. Dragonflies are older than dinosaurs. You'd probably run into the ancestors of dragonflies, Meganosoptera, if you traveled back roughly 300 million years, sometimes referred to as griffin flies. During the Paleozoic epoch, this long-extinct dragonfly relative lived from 323 million to 250 million years BC. The bulk of griffin flies were about the same size as their current counterparts. If you were to come across a species called the megatypus, it would most likely scare the living daylights out of you. 3. Dragonflies are found all over the world. Dragonflies can be found in practically every part of the earth. The majority of them seem to stick within a small area, although there are a handful that are more widespread. The emperor anax, for example, can be found all over the Americas, from Argentina's southernmost tip to Newfoundland in Canada. The globe skimmer dragonfly, on the other hand, is more striking, as it can be found in the warmer portions of every continent except Antarctica. 4. Dragonfly larvae are aquatic. Nymphs is the biological word for invertebrate insects that are in the process of metamorphosis. Grasshoppers, cicadas, and dragonflies are examples of such insects. However, calling dragonfly larvae nymphs is particularly appropriate. A nymph is a type of spirit found in rivers, streams, and other similar places in mythology. Dragonfly nymphs, like their mythological counterparts, live underwater. Adult dragonflies lay their eggs in aquatic plant tissue or on the water's surface. The nymphs spend several years underwater after emerging from their eggs, preying on various invertebrates, tadpoles, and even small fish. 5. Dragonflies have incredible flight abilities. If you've ever spent a relaxing day by a lake, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Dragonflies have such incredible flying ability that they have been known to move across oceans. They can move in any direction, yes, even backward, and can change direction quickly, virtually rotating on the spot. Their wings are so powerful that they've been seen flying at speeds of up to 34 miles per hour, 36 kilometers per hour. An Australian species known as the southern giant darner has been reported to achieve speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, 97 kilometers per hour. These reports are unreliable because the speed hasn't been documented since 1917. 6. All 4 wings of a dragonfly may be controlled independently. The wings of dragonflies are one of the key reasons they are so good at flying. They can beat all of their wings separately, allowing them to fly in 4 different ways. Dragonflies can hover like helicopters, fly as slowly as a snail or as quickly as an arrow, and even reverse direction on a dime by beating all 4 wings in unison. They can even free glide, with some females mating in mid-flight while gliding behind males. 7. Dragonflies are among the most skilled hunters on the planet. Adult dragonflies are predators that feed nearly solely on other insects such as mosquitoes, flies, and moths, as well as smaller dragonflies. They seize their prey with their feet while airborne due to their speed and agility in flight. However, one of the most impressive characteristics of dragonflies' hunting skill is their capacity to catch up to 95% of all prey they choose to chase. When they do catch something, they bite its head to paralyze it. They normally sit somewhere and eat their meal there and then, but they may also eat while moving. Their jaws are quite powerful, and they usually attack their victim head first. 8. Dragonflies are cunning assassins. Dragonflies don't merely track an insect's movement and outwing it when hunting. Instead, they do something quite similar to what we can do as humans: they intercept their prey. To do so, they must calculate not only the speed of their prey, but also its location and distance from them. They can do this in microseconds and zoom off to where their prey will be, rather than where it is, in order to catch it. 9. Dragonflies have the ability to disguise themselves while in flight. During territorial disputes with other male dragonflies, a species of dragonfly known as the Australian emperor dragonfly has been observed using a technique known as motion camouflage. Simply said, they fly in a specific direction to make it look as though they are not moving at all. However, this is merely an illusion, since they are fast approaching them. It operates by following a flight path that keeps it between the target and the place from which it launched the attack. 10. In Western culture, dragonflies have long been associated with evil. Dragonflies have many names across Europe, yet all of them tend to attribute some kind of evil or sinister aspect to them. The Norwegian name translates into eye poker, and the Portuguese name translates into eye snatcher. The most horrific of them all comes from North America: the devil's darning needle. A darning needle is a large, blunt needle that is used to repair holes or worn areas in clothing or other pieces of fabric. The legend behind dragonflies being called devil's darning needles comes from the idea that dragonflies would sew up the lips of naughty children while they sleep. 11. Dragonflies aren't considered to be sinister everywhere, though. Japanese folklore surrounding dragonflies is a sharp contrast to the way they have been traditionally perceived in the West. While the West sees them as companions to witches, snakes, and even the devil, Japan sees them as creatures worthy of respect. They are said to be symbols of courage, success, strength, and even happiness. 12. Dragonfly eyes are a sight to behold. Just like the common housefly, dragonflies have compound eyes. This means that their eyes are actually made up of thousands upon thousands of individual lenses, all taking in information about the surrounding area. Dragonflies have up to 24,000 such lenses, or facets, which enable them to see nearly 360 degrees. Their only blind spot is directly behind them. Thanks to their incredible eyes, they're able to pick out single insects out of a swarm, all the while taking care of their surroundings while flying at high speed. 13. Some species of dragonflies migrate further than you'd think. Certain species of dragonflies are known to migrate, generally moving to new locations to spawn their eggs in different ponds or to avoid unsuitable changes in the weather or temperature. They can either migrate by themselves or in giant swarms. One example of a dragonfly species that migrate in swarms is the green darner, which head south to warmer weather over fall, only returning in spring. Another impressive dragonfly species is the globe skimmer, which has been recorded to migrate up to 11,000 miles, 17,702 kilometers, between India and Africa. 14. Dragonflies can regulate their body temperature. Dragonflies are cold-blooded creatures, which means that their own bodies don't generate enough heat to sustain themselves. As such, cold-blooded creatures need to attain heat from their environment. Dragonflies do this by basking in the sun, just like lizards, but this isn't their only trick. They're able to warm themselves up by a process called wing whirring, where they vibrate their wings at such a speed that it generates heat. 15. Dragonflies can't bear the heat. While dragonflies do need to warm themselves up to a certain point, they also need to make sure that they don't get too hot. One such tactic that certain species of dragonflies employ to beat the heat is called the obelisk pose. You may have even seen them doing it and wondered what they're doing. Well, wonder no more. A dragonfly will go into the obelisk pose by almost going into a handstand and sticking its abdomen high up into the air. This helps the dragonfly cool down a little by reducing the amount of sunlight hitting its body. It's pretty easy to see why there are so many odontologists, people who study dragonflies and damselflies, worldwide. The more you learn about dragonflies, the more you begin to marvel at them. They're the oldest insect, their vision and flight is unmatched, and they're pretty damn beautiful too. Given their extensive history on Earth and their incredible abilities, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up outliving most insects that we know today.